Hello there, welcome to Geopod. South Asia is home to a fifth of humanity, yet remains one of the least integrated regions in the world. For 4 decades, SAARC has carried the promise of cooperation, dialogue and shared progress, but also the weight of political divisions and unanswered expectations. In this maiden episode of Geopod on NTV World, we look at SAARC's journey, its challenges and the road ahead, especially as it marks the 40 years since the adoption of the SAARC Charter. And for that, we speak directly with the individual entrusted with keeping that promise alive, His Excellency Muhammad Golam Sarwar, the Secretary General of SAARC. Your Excellency, welcome to Geopod.
Thank you so much for inviting me for this interview in the Nepal television. I also thank the Nepal television for inviting me to exchange some thoughts on the occasion of this 40th anniversary of SAARC Charter.
A little over 2 years that you have took on the helm, right? How closely does Kathmandu, like you discovered, matches the Kathmandu you expected?
If you ask me about the expectation from the SAARC point of view, I am not fully pessimistic. I am quite optimistic in the sense that I have discovered, I must say that I have discovered, because most of us are really ignorant about what actually SAARC had so much made progress in the last 40 years, and what are the promises that we had made by our leaders 40 years ago. So SAARC has really have a very strong foundation. In last 40 years, SAARC has made a very deep rooted presence in the whole region through various declarations, various agreements and various MOU, which are very much important to realize the charter objective of SAARC. So I just want to name few of those, like agreements on the South Asian Free Trade Area, SAFTA, then the SAARC Preferential Trade Arrangement, SAFTA, SAARC Food Security Reserve, Mutual Administrative Assistance on Customs Matter, Avoidance of Double Taxation, Mutual Administrative Assistance on Tax Matters, Establishment of SAARC Food Bank, Agreement on the Trade Services, Establishment of SAARC Seed Bank, Mutual Agreement on the Recognition of the Conformity Assessment, Rapid Response to the Natural Disaster, Framework Agreement on Energy Cooperation. These are very important, as you would agree with me. And then moreover, we also had a lot of memorandum and convention like declaration also on the protocol on the field of terrorism, drug control, child welfare, environment, natural disaster, criminal matters, trafficking of women and children, and above all the SAARC Charter. So we have so many important instruments in place in the SAARC process, which were very important for the success of SAARC. So that's why I am really optimistic that still we have, based on this foundation, we can build and go ahead. We must be quite happy that we have been able to come to understanding with among all countries on a consensus basis on all these instruments that we have. So the shortcomings or the frustration, if you say, that we could have achieved much more than what we have now. That is in short I can tell you.
Right. I mean, a part of SAARC's mandate, certainly, it was built on a foundational optimism, which is so very reflective on what you've just shared, and even the spirit that you carry so far, right? Cooperation free from bilateral tensions, I believe, also was one of the mandates that were to be included. But reality has often been, more complicated than what was envisioned back then 40 years ago. So in this context, Your Excellency, the Charter envisioned cooperation almost unburdened by bilateral disputes. Yet, geopolitical tensions have very visibly constrained SAARC's collective potential. Do you think the Charter still reflects the region's political and economic realities, or is it time to reimagine SAARC's foundational assumption?
Thank you. This is very important question I face everywhere, and this is a difficult question to answer also, because actually over last 2 years I have given a lot of thoughts about this issue, that is this charter self-contained or it needs some kind of new reflections to be put into. I actually found that this charter had been drafted very well. I mean, given all the geopolitical reality and the reality on the ground in our region, I think there cannot be any better say foundational instrument in South Asia. Now the point is whether we are following in true sense the commitments and the desires that we have made 40 years ago. That is a question you can always ask anyone, in the SAARC or in the region. But as far as the charter is concerned, I think yes, there is always room for improvement with the change of times. We can bring some new elements in the our terms of reference and how we can achieve the chartered goal. That can be also looked at, but I don't see much problem with the charter. It's the issue of our commitment. Mm-hmm. I think we have to have more commitment to the charter.
Right, and this brings me, to the most persistent and very defining bilateral dynamism in this region, right? In every SAARC conversation, Your Excellency, India-Pakistan tensions are the silent elephant in the room, right? So, as a Secretary General of this entity, how do you engineer institutional momentum in a space where political constants routinely overshadow regional consensus?
Thank you. Actually, I after my took over, I have been to all the countries of the region, except Afghanistan, of course, due to the situation there, I could not go. But in each and every individual countries, the leadership and the civil society, the high officials I met, I received the similar kind of commitment to the SAARC process, and similar kind of expectation they are still holding. I'm sure the good time will come. Although, as you say, have raised about the tension between two member countries, I think besides all these bilateral issues, we can still go ahead. It is up to our leadership to decide when to go ahead. They are also quite, I must say that, quite competent in their position, having a lot of experience, and they know when to give us a signal to go ahead. So I'm still very much optimistic, because the amount of resilience and the goodwill that I have seen in each and every member countries, I don't see any reason to be frustrated on this. Mm-hmm. Only thing is, this is a temporary phenomena we are passing through. We have to have little patience to come out of this situation.
Mm-hmm. If you could shed light, is SAARC structurally dependent on political harmony, or rather than designed to manage conflict?
No, rather I should say that it is designed. It is also, there is inbuilt design in the SAARC Charter to manage the conflict. Like if we have say bilateral differences between two countries, they may not be able to sit bilaterally, but there is a scope under the SAARC to sit regularly, to discuss in the sideline about the contentious bilateral issues and come to a common ground. I think SAARC is offering excellent forum for even discuss about the difficult bilateral issues and come to a conclusion.
Mm-hmm. And beyond internal dynamics, because we've come to a point of time where everything is affecting everything elsewhere, right? So beyond these internal dynamics of the region itself, Your Excellency, the regional equation is also shaped by major external powers, right? So with let me be very specific, with China expanding influence through the BRI project, and infrastructure diplomacy and emerging security ties with several South Asian countries, how does SAARC assert its own regional agenda?
I think there is no problem to see more regional and sub-regional cooperation to say take shape, because in the SAARC Charter, rather the sub-regional cooperation involving 2 or more member countries have been actually encouraged in the SAARC Charter. That's why I am saying that this charter was very much visionary. They have considered all the aspect, what it can happen after 40 years, after 50 years. So it was well designed, and in the charter it is encouraged by the member states to form the sub-regional cooperation among the member states, or with 2 or more member states. In that case, they can also sometimes consider the extended neighbors in that forum. There is no harm for that. So this can be complementary to each other. Yeah, I don't see there is any challenge in this. Rather, if we can work in a harmony with other regional and sub-regional organization, we can make faster development in the SAARC region.
So could you shed a little more light on how SAARC can maintain its central role at a time when external actors, or in your very own terminology, extended actors are increasingly shaping, South Asia's strategic choices? How does SAARC maintain its central role?
Now, I think if we are united in our commitment that we have made 40 years ago, I don't think there any kind of say global situation, of course, will affect all countries. There is no denial of the fact that because we are so interconnected now globally to each other. So anything happen to our extended neighborhood or even beyond the region will directly or indirectly affect us. So having said that, I think if we are fully aware of the potentials that we have within the region, and if we sincerely work to get the benefit out of those, I think SAARC is still the best answer.
Now let's turn to the economic front, Your Excellency, an area or a domain where the region holds great promises because it's one of the most rapidly rising regions in the world, yet the delivery has been far below the potential. Intra-SAARC trade, if you look at the figures, well below 6%, which is again one of the lowest in the entire world. What structural or political barriers are creating or holding SAARC back?
You are absolutely right that the intra-regional trade in SAARC is really quite low, which is between 5 and 6%, and the potential, as you have said, is tremendous. Currently, the intra-regional trade between SAARC is around 20 odd billion, around 23 billion or so. But according to a World Bank estimate, if we can remove only few small barriers in the SAARC process, it can grow to almost 67%. Not 67, 67 billion, from 23 billion to 67 billion in 5 years. That means it will be almost tripled. So there, I think, if we keep aside all the, say, contentious issues and go ahead and give importance to the trade, I think that would be the best way to go ahead.
With the world reorganizing the supply chains, Your Excellency, can SAARC seize the opportunity to becoming a competitive regional hub? What are the prospect areas that you see?
Yes, those global scenarios, especially in the trade regime, is, I think, indirectly bringing an opportunity for our SAARC region to think about the trade within the region. So since we are facing challenge of having trade with the West due to the new tariff rules, especially in the United States, I think it is a time for us to rethink and also redesign our plan in the SAARC and increase the SAARC intra-SAARC trade. I think this can be taken as an opportunity. What we are seeing in the other region, like in our extended neighbor, the ASEAN is doing that way, and they are trying to utilize their strength within the region. And China is also trying to have their strengthen their trade partnership with the ASEAN and others. I think this is a also big opportunity for us for increasing the intra-regional trade and the trade with the eastern our eastern neighbors like the ASEAN, China, Japan, Korea, all those countries.
Mm-hmm. Let's now switch to an issue where borders do not matter. Look at our region; it is ground zero for climate vulnerability. Why hasn't the shared climate challenge translated into shared climate strategy under the SAARC banner?
No, actually, I would like to add something here with your comment. SAARC is, I think, the climate change took a center stage in the SAARC process. Our leaders in 2010 in the Thimphu summit, we have adopted the Thimphu Statement of Climate Change, where we have laid out our plan how to deal with this climate challenges together as a region, because it is sometimes only the regional effect. Initiative may not be enough sometimes, because as you said that it doesn't have any border. We have to have greater cooperation in the international level. That's why I have mentioned earlier that are we actually working together as we have envisioned in our charter, that the strengthening cooperation among the member states in the international forums on the matter of common interest. So this is a matter of common interest. I think time has come for the SAARC to sit again and also draw a common strategy how we will negotiate our position in the COP and other climate related forum. First, we have to consolidate our strategy within ourselves, which we are doing actually through the Thimphu Statement of Climate Change. The SAARC Secretariat had arranged in last 2 years several capacity building and also initiatives, and then those are enhance the capacity of SAARC member states, assess the viability of institutions of SAARC climate fund, and also frame a regional response to the transboundary air pollution. So we are working at the expert level to draw a plan for the region, so that in course of time it can be voiced in the international forum like COPs and other climate related initiatives.
Mm-hmm. So directly or indirectly related with climate change or the vulnerability that this phenomena brings around is migration. And I think this is one of the major, they say it cuts both ways, but many see it as a major issue facing the South Asian region. That's migration, right? So millions of South Asians are at the moment migrating within and beyond the region. Demographic shifts are really reshaping economies and societies inside South Asia already, having a lot of repercussions and long-term effects. Could SAARC envision a framework, Your Excellency, for safe, legal and mutually beneficial mobility?
Yes, actually in the recent initiatives of SAARC, I think leaders have also discussed about the safe and orderly migration, which is of course regarding the migration of the SAARC member countries nationals to the outside world. So there is scope for further cooperation in this. But if you talk about the intra-regional migration, I don't know exactly what is the number. I don't think it is too big, and those are quite temporary because of some situations arises in some of the countries for political reason or something. Sometimes people go and they come back again to their home. So those are not very permanent kind of thing. What I believe. But if we look holistically about the global migration scenario, I think South Asia still have a lot of potentials, and I think South Asia is the largest region in terms of the global migration, because we contribute to almost maybe half of the global migration by the South Asian population in the Middle East, even in the Western countries. in Malaysia and Singapore and all other countries.
So do you mean migration is not one among the major issues that should be troubling the region at the moment?
No, if we talk about the outward migration outside the region, I think there is a lot of potentials still there, and if we work together to draw a common plan for the South Asians to protect our migrants who are going to work abroad, that would be then it will strengthen our position in the receiving countries, because we know that in some of the receiving countries our people are not getting their rights properly. So if we can work together, I think we can have a very strong policy as a regional policy through which we can negotiate with the receiving countries where our people are going in large number and working, and sometimes they are not getting enough their rights and the support that they desire for.
So is SAARC even thinking about incorporating in pursuing any sort of efforts to this effect?
Yes, it is very much there in the SAARC agenda.
Okay, so let me move on to your own institutional sphere, Your Excellency. Critics of, let me quote them, often say that the Secretariat lacks teeth, meaning you have to function under limited resources, limited autonomy and limited mandate. That's what the critics have been on and off saying, right? So what reforms do you believe are essential for the SAARC to deliver real impact in the next decade?
You see, reform is always an ongoing process. So SAARC Secretariat has also made a lot of, very strong contribution in the SAARC's 40 years of journey. So since we are not actually having the higher level meetings like summit, Council of Ministers, so this interim period, it is always difficult to keep the professionalism among the staffs. So we are quite mindful about it, and from the Secretariat we are trying to keep our, especially from my position, I'm trying to keep my colleagues engaged with the international or other international forums, so that our professional competency doesn't get affected due to the lack of higher level interactions or higher level meetings.
So as you said, SAARC summits have remained stalled for many years now, and that is the prime and the core concern for the region and even the institution itself. So do you see or foresee a political opening for their revival?
As I said initially, as a diplomat, I'm always optimistic, and diplomacy and dialogue is the best way to resolve any stalemate in any situation. So I am fully optimistic, and there is nothing called the last word in politics. So I'm sure things will get momentum. Maybe we have to have some more patience. At the moment, as we are holding this conversation, Your Excellency, we cannot do away without talking the shift that the region is at the moment seeing, some unprecedented episodes. Just a quick recall across Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, recently we witnessed a generational jolt, right? Youth-led mobilizations which strongly demanded accountability, transparency, and a dismantling of the entrenched political cultures, quote unquote. Do you see this generational awakening, as they call it, Gen Z awakening, as a disruptive force, or do you see it as a democratic correction? I see in both ways. I think we, in the SAARC, we have given enough importance to the youth, children and the women. So if we continue to follow up with those initiatives that we have taken under the SAARC umbrella, I can assure you that things will get much better. Here, if you say Gen Z or the youth movement, whatever name you call it, actually there is a big generational shift we have seen because of the technological advancement and the free flow of information. So the new generation now, they are quite quite informed now. Sometimes they are, I mean, it can be positively informed or negatively informed because of some say media and social media's intervention. It cuts sometimes both way. So if we have free and open dialogue with the new generations, and as we continue it on a regular basis, I think because their concern needs to be seen and also addressed. That's what they want. So if we take initiative beforehand, so the cost of say these kind of movements will come much less, or this kind of movement will not happen even.
And this generation that we are talking of, this is not only loud on the streets, right? It's loud online. And the digital landscape, certainly we need to admit, that has turned South Asia's youth into a hyper-connected political force. Movements now cross borders, through narratives, through shares, through statements, and through solidarity. So how does institutions like SAARC engage with a generation that organizes in real time and demands results with urgency?
Yes, we actually, as from the SAARC, especially from the SAARC Secretariat, we always wait for the guidance and from our leaders. So I definitely expect that our leaders will meet and also draw a common plan for the SAARC region, how to deal with this and how to secure the future of the next generation. Actually, by securing their future, we are securing our future also, because our future will be on their hand. They will take our place very soon. So if we look into it in a very positive framework and continuously engaged and see what are their concerns, and if we try to address those, I think we can create a much better situation.
And this brings us to a point, or to the idea of imagining SAARC, not of the past, but of the future, Your Excellency. If you were to design SAARC 2.0, right, that speaks directly to South Asia's Gen Z, what would be the core pillars of this reimagined institution?
We have to assure our new generation a better future. Not only assurance, we have to deliver it in reality. So in order to do that, I'm sure our leadership are constantly working on this. Definitely we will see much better South Asia in the coming days.
That's great optimism, and we really look forward to that, Your Excellency. So finally, let's leave our viewers with a very forward-looking vision from your leadership. If you could articulate a bold, future-facing vision for SAARC at its 50 years milestone, about 10 years from now, one that transcends the political hesitation and reflects the aspirations of 1.8 billion people living here, what would it be?
Okay. Actually, it's 10 years down the line. 10 years is quite long time. I don't expect that situation will remain same in 10 years. There will be a lot of changes, and change for good. Definitely, I'm quite optimistic, quite sure about it. So in 10 years, there will be at least 3 Secretary General after me on the SAARC. So I'm sure they will also have the opportunity to work for the SAARC 2.0, as you have just mentioned. There I will give special focus on the trade. If we can materialize the SAFTA in its true spirit, I think the situation, especially the economic situation, will in the region will take a dramatic shift, as I said, from 23 billion to 67 billion in only 5 years. Maybe in 10 years we can reach to 100 billion marks. So when the economic situation changes, so automatically the you will see the effect in the society, and you will see a whole new South Asia after 10 years.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for taking out the time to come over and share with us your very valued insights and thoughts.
Thank you so much for inviting me and also share my thoughts.
Right. Reaping from the conversation we just had, SAARC stands at a crossroads, torn between conflict and cooperation, yet still holding the possibility of unity, standing strong on the foundations of optimism. Today's conversation very well reflects that regional peace and prosperity depend not only on governments, but on vision, dialogue, and commitment. Therefore, the future of South Asia remains a story still being written. That's it from Geopod this time. Until next time, goodbye.